हेलो एवरीवन, गुड आफ्टरनून गाइस। सो मेरा नाम प्रशांत है। मेरे पास 6 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है। मैं इंडस्ट्री में 6 साल से हूँ एज अ बैक एंड इंजीनियर। और आज मैं आप सबका स्वागत करता हूँ युत्थान यूथ कॉन्क्लेव 2026 के बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग पैनल डिस्कशन में, जिसका टॉपिक है जॉब स्किल्स फॉर जेन जी नेविगेटिंग द जॉब मार्केट इन दिस AI एज। ठीक है, बिफोर वी बिगिन एक सिंपल सा सवाल है। How many of you have here used ChatGPT, Copilot or any AI based app in the last 1 week? Can we get a quick raise of hands? As expected, everybody. तो फिर आज हम यहीं से अपना कॉन्वर्जेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे। ठीक है, AI कोई आज एक टेक्नोलॉजी का टॉपिक नहीं रह गया है। AI डिसाइड कर रहा है कि काम कैसे होगा। ठीक है, टीम्स कैसे बनेंगी, स्किल्स कौन से चाहिए होंगे, क्या डिसाइड करेगा कि आप जॉब रेडी हैं या नहीं है। ऑलराइट, सो आज हम लोग जो है फियर के बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे, हम क्लैरिटी के बारे में बात करेंगे। बिकॉज मार्केट में बहुत सारे लोग हैं बोलने वाले कि भैया AI जो है आपका जॉब ले लेगा, इट विल ऑटोमेट दिस, इट विल डू दिस, इट विल डू दैट। बट उसमें कितनी सच्चाई है वो तो टाइम से ही आपको पता चलेगा। लेकिन आज हम लोग क्लैरिटी पे बात करते हैं। ठीक है, बिकॉज यू गाइज आर द वन जो आज हेड ऑन लेने वाले। और यहाँ पे आई सी अ लॉट ऑफ यंग फेसेस। सो मुझे लगता है आउट ऑफ ऑल द सेशंस दिस इज दैट सेशन जहाँ पे आपका मैक्सिमम फायदा होने वाला है। सो प्लीज़ 1 घंटे तक ध्यान से सुनिएगा। ठीक है, तो आज हमारे पास जो है कुछ इंडस्ट्री के लीडर्स हैं जो सिर्फ AI के बारे में जो है बातें नहीं करते हैं बल्कि डिसीजंस लेते हैं, हायरिंग के, टीम्स के, करियर्स के। ठीक है, तो विल ट्राई टू जितना ज़्यादा हम सीख सके उनसे आज सीख लें। ठीक है, तो आज मैं हमारे गेस्ट्स को मैं अब स्टेज पे आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगा, मिस्टर योगेश राव जी एंड मिस्टर रामकृष्णन जी। वेलकम सर। मैं मिस्टर प्रभाकर पाटिल जी से कहूँगा कि वे आज हमारे गेस्ट्स को फेलिसिटेट करें एंड उनका वेलकम करें। प्रभाकर पाटिल जी पेट्रोकेमिकल इंडस्ट्री में रिटायर्ड हैं और आज ये हमारा वेलकम कर रहे हैं गेस्ट का। तो हमारे साथ पहले हैं मिस्टर रामकृष्ण जी। रामकृष्ण जी VJTI मुंबई से मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग है, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर पास आउट है 1978 के, और लार्सन एंड टूब्रो के साथ लगभग इनका 40 साल का एसोसिएशन रहा है। कंस्ट्रक्शंस, हैवी इंजीनियरिंग, टेक्नोलॉजी और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जैसे कोर सेक्टर्स में उन्होंने लीडरशिप रोल में काम किया हुआ है। रिटायरमेंट के बाद भी वो एक्टिव हैं और अब L&T के स्किल डेवलपमेंट मिशन के चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव हैं, और जहां उनका फोकस यूथ को इंडस्ट्री रेडी बनाना है और लार्ज स्केल स्किल डेवलपमेंट पर उनका फोकस है। इंडस्ट्री, एजुकेशन और स्केलिंग इकोसिस्टम तीनों को साथ जोड़कर देखने का उनका जो पर्सपेक्टिव है वो आज के जेन जी स्टूडेंट्स के लिए काफ़ी वैल्यूएबल रहेगा। सो वेलकम सर। फिर हमारे साथ हैं आज मिस्टर योगेश राव जी। योगेश राव जी इंडस्ट्री में काफ़ी सालों से लार्ज एंटरप्राइजेस के साथ एनालिटिक्स और AI लेड ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ड्राइव कर रहे हैं। उन्होंने IBM, टेराडेटा और HP जैसे ग्लोबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के साथ काम किया हुआ है, और आज वो AI और डेटा को रियल बिजनेस डिसीजन मेकिंग के साथ जोड़कर देखते हैं। आज वो TCS कंपनी के साथ काम कर रहे हैं एज अ चीफ डेटा एंड AI साइंटिस्ट। उनका अप्रोच सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी तक लिमिटेड नहीं है, वो AI के ह्यूमन और ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल इम्पैक्ट को डीपली समझते हैं, और इसीलिए हायरिंग और जॉब रेडीनेस पर उनका जो पर्सपेक्टिव है वो काफ़ी प्रैक्टिकल और ग्राउंडेड होता है। तो वेलकम सर। ठीक है, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट। सो मिस्टर रामकृष्ण जी, आपसे पहला सवाल रहेगा। अगर आप आज इंडस्ट्री लीडर के तौर पर काम कर रहे हैं, अगर हम आज के ग्रेजुएट को देखें और 5 साल पहले के ग्रेजुएट से कंपेयर करें, तो AI के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में जॉब रेडी होने का जो डेफिनेशन है वो कैसे चेंज हुआ है?
Good morning, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to be with such a young audience. आप लोगों के भीतर रह के आज मैं महसूस कर रहा हूँ कि मेरी भी उम्र 20-25 साल कम हो गई है। Thank you. So, can you just repeat the question?
श्योर सर। तो मेरा सवाल था ये कि जब आप आज के ग्रेजुएट्स को 5 साल के पहले के ग्रेजुएट से कंपेयर करेंगे एआई के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, जो जॉब रेडीनेस का डेफिनेशन है वो कैसे चेंज हुआ है?
Okay, to be very honest, there is not much of a change in terms of the job requirements. Basically, the फर्क इतना ही है कि 5 साल पहले there was not much talk of AI, but you were all very savvy with respect to WhatsApp and Excel, PowerPoint and all that. To that extent, you were savvy. But पिछले 2 सालों में तो ये AI, ChatGPT and all has come. But the fundamental requirements of industry has not changed. So what industry looks for is, apart from academic qualifications, industry आपसे क्या अपेक्षा रखती है? That is, number one, you have to be very committed. You have to be an active learner. You have to be a good listener. You have to be a good communicator. You must have the attributes of critical thinking, analysis of problems, so problem solving approach. So basically what we were looking for and what we continue to look for is attitude. There are 3 attributes for any student when he comes into a organization or when he gets into a learning institution. It's called KSA, knowledge, skills and attitude. Knowledge is what you obtain from your professors, from your teachers, from reading, etc. Skill is what you get when you use that knowledge in a practical application. But underlying all this as a horizontal attribute, जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है और वो सदियों से लागू है और सदियों तक लागू रहेगा, is attitude. And attitude comprises of soft skills and life skills. So जो मैंने अभी बताया in terms of your ability to communicate, in terms of your analysis of problems, in terms of problem solving, in terms of looking at the larger picture, in terms of critical thinking, in terms of caring for others, in terms of looking at the society with compassion, in terms of respect to elders. These are the values that are going to stand you in good stead, not only today, but in the future also. And this is going to be there whether AI, whatever version is there today, or anything changes. Fundamentals of life are not going to change. So please ensure that you follow those principles while you acquire knowledge in terms of technology in AI or any other field.
Very well put, sir. So if you keep your fundamentals intact, you are in the market. Yogesh Rao, sir.
गुड आफ्टरनून सभी को. बहुत बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है युत्थान में यूथ एंड उनका उत्थान, राइट, एंड कनेक्टिंग. आई मीन आई वाज एट योर स्टेज एंड मे बी 50% ऑफ व्हाट यू आर when I was of your age, right? So skills wise, communication wise, confidence wise, dressing wise, I was nowhere, right? When I look at it, and definitely as Rama sir said, so have wings but be deep rooted. I think that's from a how a youth of today should be. But when I look at, so I am into business to business selling, right? We sell to our customers, and my customers are fail fast customers. They would not shy away from investing in AI and also ensuring that either they rapidly fail or it gives them a bountiful of return. The way I am seeing, and I'm talking about last 5, maybe I'll push it to last 10 years. My life is constantly about learning, and I was just telling Rama sir that I'm still pursuing my doctorate, right? Despite like 4 or 5 degrees already under the belt. And why? Is because in my industry, I cannot be affording to bat my eyelid. पढ़ने के अलावा कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. पढ़ने से आपका ज्ञान अर्जन जो होगा, so you cannot say that what you are doing is the be all end all, right? It's only maybe a small pebble to your longer milestone. वो आप डिस्कवर करते रहेंगे, like हैंसल एंड ग्रेटल, ब्रेड क्रम्स आया, फॉलो किए, फिर दूसरा ब्रेड क्रम आया. So it's okay to have that 10 meter of vision. From a AI perspective, 10 years back, when used to go, हम लोग थाली में एक इनविजिबल प्रोडक्ट लेके जाते हैं AI, right, बेचने के लिए. And definitely we are not saying take the AI. There's a value proposition to it. So I'm trying to simplify it for your sake. Customers used to say, why AI? Right? Why AI का मतलब, there already we have dashboards, we have got pivot tables, we have got business intelligence, business analytics, visualization, हमारे पास ये सब है. So AI की क्या आवश्यकता है, right? To a stage wherein they said, me also, I also want to do AI. Why? Is because, few people were early adopters, the others wanted to lap up. Advanced analytics, banking में, credit decisioning for first time borrowers. How am I going to do that? Agro space में कैसे use हो रहा है? Defense space में कैसे use हो रहा है? Culture के लिए कैसे use करेंगे? Because the data was kind of pushing us to do weird things. The next wave that came was, so first is why AI, to AI me also, to AI first. AI first means, okay, now last 3 years जब से Chat GPT आया है, right? And I keep asking these questions to youngsters. GPT जो use करे, GPT का full form मालूम है क्या? Anybody who knows the full form of GPT? That's what it is, right? So it's all about transformer technology, and it has disrupted generative pre-trained transformers. आपके पास सारा शब्द को सारी books पुस्तकें एक transformer में embed होकर के मिल रही है. Now you are on the inference layer trying to fire on, Claude, Anthropic, and all of these things, right? Now, what we are seeing, and this is where, it is very important for you to understand, because you are that generation. I am not, Ramaji is already 20 years elder to me, so he is definitely not. And I am also, kind of a 4 p.m. Leader, right? We have a 6 p.m. leader, 4 p.m. leader, and now you are the 8 a.m. leader, which means that the sun is rising, is AI native. From why AI to AI me also, to AI first, to AI native. The way the genome and the way your thinking process is going to be by AI rather than can I also use AI. So AI to hai hi. That's how your thought process should transform. And this does not mean that you have all the education and AI native and all, but you lack all the value systems and the sanskar and what Ramaji said. So that is the foundation block which are deep rooted. And then you have AI native. That is the thought process by which you are going to have wings.
Okay, sir. So when companies today build AI-driven teams, so what actually is changing on the ground? I mean, are they hiring fewer people, or they are hiring a different kind of people, people with different skill set? So can you please share some insights on that?
I think we are getting questions that, perhaps it's very difficult to answer, but let me attempt in a very organic way. So you look at it, right? I was talking about the 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. leaders, right? And you are perhaps at 8 a.m. leadership. Few people are past and, mid-noon. There's always a resistance to change. AI is driving us insane in the sense, and I'm not trying to scare you, is that, say for example, we already have projects, right? If you're doing projects for your customers, and those are AMS or managed services projects, as we say, and we have to show certain productivity. We cannot be ensconcing ourselves into happiness that, hey, every year we are giving you 5% of productivity gain. The customers are saying AI is disrupting everything, right? It is disrupting the service desk. It is disrupting emails, right? Earlier we used to use logistic regression and we used to do merrymaking. Hey, spam, no spam, mail aa gaya hai, right? Now we are having multiple layers and multiple, hierarchies of classification that we are doing on mails. And now with the power of Gen AI, we are also able to do auto response. Auto response may have its bane of, hallucination, but that is available. At least 70% of the results are coming through. क्या आवश्यकता है मेरे को 15 agents बिठाने की 24/7 365? So there is clearly a productivity gain that I can infuse using AI, right? Now, understand this. So supposing if I was doing a business, you are doing a business, right? Somewhere जहाँ पे आपको 20 लोग आपने लगा के रखे हैं. अब क्या होगा, वो 20 लोग का जो 5 साल का जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, सडनली किसी ने AI कर दिया. अब AI के कारण you have a new business that is coming in. Understand that new business is at the cost of existing business that is getting trade off. There is no net new business. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है समीकरण या इक्वेशन की जो भी आप नया कर रहे हो, is it actually aboriginal and new, or is it actually snatching a piece of tofu? If you are vegetarian, right, you are snatching a piece of tofu from an existing business. यहाँ AI का है, but definitely AI for IT is doing wonders, AI for business is doing wonders. There are lots of problems that it is solving. So what should we be looking at, right? Is that we should look at newer business opportunities. Newer business opportunities in terms of, climate, in terms of, power generation, in terms of energy conservation, in terms of cleanliness, in terms of civil infrastructure. These are the new business opportunities in terms of defense. I mean, you look at the way, the Israel-Hamas war, or even recently, Sindoor, or, Russia and Ukraine. I mean, you feel that people are fighting with bows and arrows? No. Everything is gone into a fifth generation altogether, right? Cyber, drones, this is where you have to sit over here and start doing all of these things. That's how the AI nativeness is getting infused into every sphere of life that we are talking about.
Yes, sir.
My voice is audible, right, till the last row. And people are not dozing off because we can't see all the way there.
Okay, the question was, are companies recruiting less people because of AI? And my answer to that is straight away no. And the reasons are as follows. Number one, what is happening is that today, if India is at a GDP level of $3 trillion, we are aiming to become $5 trillion in the next 5 to 10 years, or 5 to 6 years. If you look at every company that is in India today, large, small, etc., everybody is looking at a growth of at least 10 to 15%. Where does this growth come from? It comes from investment in terms of resources, and most importantly, investment in terms of money, and most importantly, investment in terms of resources. And resources means human resources. So what organizations are doing is that, yes, with AI, the productivity per person will go up. So it means that if 100 people were delivering 1,000 rupees worth of output, with AI, they may deliver 5,000 or 10,000 worth of output. So what happens is that the organization actually goes from that 1,000 to 5,000. And if they have to grow further, they have to take more people. So one of the things that has been haunting many people, and especially youngsters like you, is that the fear of jobs coming down. And my response to that is that don't fear. Jo dar gaya, samjho, mar gaya. There is going to be so much of improvement in productivity, so much of improvement in production. If you look at what is happening in the country today, we are growing at 7 to 8% GDP growth rate every year. And our base is also large. We have 140 crore people in this country. Okay, now just look at what AI has done and how things have improved. Today, when you go to the airport, most of us are able to go using Digi Yatra. We don't wait for a security man to check. We just show our face and the gates open and we go in. But if you see that, even there, you find the number of security people have gone up, because the number of passengers traveling is going up, because the income levels have gone up due to possibly GST coming down, income tax coming down, and job opportunities going up. So if you look at all these factors, AI is going to help us become more productive. And there are, if you look at various parameters, be it in terms of manufacturing, in terms of agriculture, in terms of services, output per person, which relates to per capita income also in a way, will actually start going up. So what we have to do is, as I mentioned about certain fundamental attributes that you need to have in life, you need to adapt technology, you need to adapt to new learnings, you need to implement new learnings, and that is something you people are very capable of, because your minds are more fertile, more receptible than people like us who belong to another generation. So the answer is, companies will continue to recruit more and more. It may be in different areas. It may not be the areas that has been happening today. It could be in different areas. I was hearing a CHRO of Accenture. She was talking about how they are training people in different AI skills and enhancing the output. But she said there is no impact in terms of recruitment. We are still continuing to recruit more because we are growing faster than what we would have had these AI related tools not been available.
Coming from you, sir, it's quite comforting. So टेक्निकल स्किल्स तो इम्पॉर्टेंट है. रामाकृष्ण सर, आप खुद भी स्किल बिल्डिंग में काफ़ी काम कर रहे हैं एक्सटेंसिवली. सो व्हाट आर दोज टॉप 2-3 ह्यूमन स्किल्स दैट जेन जी मस्ट डेवलप टू सर्वाइव एंड ग्रो?
Can you hear me? Okay. So first thing is that you must have the right positive attitude to life. Second, you must have a thirst for learning at all times. Learning never stops because life never stops teaching. Third, you must have the flexibility, the adaptability, the resilience to meet any situation. Can I add more? You need to have a strong value system in you. There are certain things which are not negotiable in terms of honesty, in terms of integrity, in terms of discipline, in terms of respect to others, in terms of caring for others. So these are the qualities that you need to have in order to become successful in a turbulent world. You know, they call it VUCA and all that, and today that has become even more volatile because of a person called Donald Trump. So in spite of all this, you can still ride the storms of the coming days and months and years if you have your fundamentals clear, you're sincere, you're committed, you're dedicated, you're passionate about what you're doing, be it learning your academics, be it learning something in sports, be it learning something in arts, be it learning something in farming. Do it with sincerity and commitment of purpose.
Your view, sir.
Yeah. All of you would have heard, right? You know, so one is a very communist way of thinking, one is a very hyper-capitalist way of thinking, and we are all privy to, you know, what's happening with Jeffrey Epstein's file, right? Is that the life we want to lead, right? Blindly following cash and capital, and you are having so much of that in abundance that you start losing yourself out, right? So keep at the center, you know, rise above the caste partisan, rise above religional partisan, rise above gender partisan, and definitely think pro-Bharat. Once you are by India, then everything starts falling in place. Adding on to what Rama sir said, right? Have great resilience and tenacity. Life के लिए आपको सज्ज और ready रहना है. And embrace uncertainty is one thing. If I were to, you know, just claim, right? I don't like claiming. Is that, you know, from a very hinterland kind of a place to here, and a very shy person, as I said, and you are looking into my eyes and very confident at your age. At 21 years, I was not. Right? The only one thing that has helped me is I have embraced uncertainty in the right path. Always embrace that and never shy away. यार गड्ढा है, गिर तो नहीं जाऊंगा. आपको अपने आप वो आइडिया आएगा कि कैसे वो गड्ढे को पार करना है, पाट के करना है, छलांग लगा के करनी है, वो करना चालू करिए. एंड व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एआई इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ दैट, ऑलवेज कीप लर्निंग न्यू. अगर मैं एक चीज रोज नया सीखता हूँ, राइट, वन थिंग 1.01 you can raise to the power, you know, 365 leads to something like a 30% upwards, and you decide one less thing which is 0.99, it gets you down by 27%. एक नई चीज आप संकल्प करिए, make a pact with yourself, one good thing you are going to learn, and that has to be by AI, and that is going to be interest of India. I think, you know, why not? You know, you are the next generation on which India is going to shoulder herself upon.
Okay, thank you, sir. So to summarize, right attitude, your learning habits, your adaptability, and your resilience is going to be the key. That's what I can understand. Okay, so Yogesh sir, so let's demystify AI literacy. For anyone who is sitting here, जैसे एक commerce या फिर let's say medical student जो इस room में है, what does being AI aware realistically means?
Sure. So I am trying to create a certain image. वो ध्यान से जो सो रहे हैं उनको भी बोल रहा हूँ. I can see few eyes already shut. Right. So left to right. So first you see is you know, there are scores and scores of books, websites, etc. Right. And then comes the transformer. Right. So there is this books that are getting embedded into the transformer. Right. And the third layer, ये transformer के through ही जो LLM, large language model, and subject area wise जिसको SLM बोलते हैं, small language model, ये यहाँ पे इनकी उत्पत्ति होती है. This is where they get born. And the third layer is the inference layer. Now, most of us, who are not from engineering background, not from engineering, matlab tech engineering of transformer, they are mostly on the inference layer, जिसको हम बोलते हैं prompt. The word over here is prompt engineering, right? So prompt engineering is and is definitely not, engineer बोलने के बाद ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ maths आना चाहिए. Maths may be limited, but your way of expression in the language of your choice, which in this case could be English, Hindi, Urdu, whatever that is, right? वो आपका अच्छा होना चाहिए. Then you are going to be, it's like a horse, right? You have a horse in a ranch and it's a wild horse. So वो क्या करता है ranch man? उसको ऊपर बैठता है, थोड़ा कोड़े वोड़े पीटता है, फिर बैठता है. That's a training, right? So these are already trained, but they still, आप कुछ भी आंसर पूछो. See, if you ask me what's my name, I'm going to say Yogesh Rao. But if you ask, tell about yourself. So that's a very Boolean answer, right? Yogesh Rao. Then I'm going to say 1, 2, 3 lines. Supposing you substitute me with an AI and you ask what's its name, it will say the same thing. But if you ask, tell something about, yourself, every time it is going to give a different answer. That's where the consistency is getting compromised. And mind you, I'm not talking about hallucination. Hallucination means it is feeding on some false positives and it will make you believe, right? Anthropomorphism. It will make you believe that what it is emanating or rendering as an information is correct because you find when you're reading it, it's logically fit. But it is possible that it is either feeding on the wrong data or within the transformer itself, it is kind of garbled up and confused, right? There are lots of cases over here, right? So I'm with full responsibility, I'm telling. You can research on Suchir Balaji and the case of OpenAI. You would get to know that there are inbuilt inconsistencies that are possible. There are hallucinations that are possible. And hence, on the other side, when you're trying to tame this wild horse, you have to ensure that you are able to ask a query which is very, very specific. Hence, we talk about, zero shot prompt, few shot prompt, long shot prompt, all of these, chain of thought commands. These are the different technicalities. Even if you're coming from a law background, even if you're coming from a commerce background, finance background, BFM, all of these things are important that you start acing these games up, because you cannot be coming face to face with an interviewer and say, hey, by the way, I know my subject very well and I'm going to hack AI when there's a need. No, you have to be AI ready. You need to know at least the inference layer, which is the prompt engineering, being able to fire the right questions. It is not about give me produce a synthesis of a report. Or I think most of the big four jobs are itself are kind of getting challenged over here, because now I can do a peer company analysis sitting at the study room of my home. So I think, but am I able to use it well? That's what I think. That is something that is going to edge you out, right? That is something that you should be mastering. And you have to just focus 1 hour every day. I am going to pick up a course available severally on Coursera, Udemy, whatever. I don't want to get into proper nouns. You can do whatever you need, free courses also, but learn. And this is not that is going to be a part of your core curriculum that any of the colleges today teach. And then you cannot say ki college ne kuch nahi kiya. What are you doing for yourself? So keep sharpening that pencil, okay?
Ramakrishnan sir. So स्टूडेंट में एक बहुत ही कॉमन कन्फ्यूजन है, क्या आज भी हर किसी के लिए कोडिंग आना एसेंशियल है, या फिर हम ऐसे फेज में जा रहे हैं जहां एआई को समझना, यूज़ करना और गाइड करना ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, चाहे आप कोडर हो या ना हो?
So I am not a IT person, though as I was telling Yogesh today that I worked for 4 years in L&T Infotech also. But I think what question your name? Prashant has asked me is that my own view is that it is not that coding is going to end. You still have to do coding. You need to learn more languages, Python, prompt engineering and all that. It could be that what is going to happen is that you need to be fundamentally strong in what the area you're getting into, the domain you're getting into, and thereby the coding is important. You need to understand how it is going to get impacted by AI, use of AI technologies, and you need to be aware. As I said, you need to be not only aware, you need to be adaptable to learn new things. As Yogesh just mentioned, it is very important to constantly keep learning. It's not that अगर मुझे जॉब मिल गया तो हो गया, मुझे नौकरी मिल गई, अब मेरा लर्निंग बंद हो गया और सिर्फ कमाना बाकी है. No, even in your jobs you need to refresh yourself regularly. You need to remove the dust from your minds, and you need to get into fresh thinking every day. So that learning habit has to continue. So the answer is, these jobs will continue, they will get transformed, they will get changed, they will acquire new dimensions. And if you are not a person who is willing to change, willing to learn, willing to adapt, then you could be in problem. But if you are flexible, you understand that I need to imbibe, learn, accept, adapt to new technologies, new ways of working, then nothing can stop you.
Yogesh sir.
I would just add upon. So I'll give you a story, you know, because I still see some eyes dozing off, right? So I'll wake you up. यहाँ से पानी छिड़कता हूँ. In 1869, there was a lady called Madame Curie, a Swedish lady, right? And she ended up becoming a Nobel laureate. Understand where I am coming from. So she discovered nuclear, right? जो nuclear का base था उन्होंने discover किया, radiations. And when she was doing that, and she was, we are not gods, right? So she was also, as much as she may have a IQ of 180 on 200, over 200, but she was still a human. Every day night, वो अपना labs बंद करती थी और वो polonium, later on we got to know it's radioactive, right? वो अपने pocket में, वो gown पहनती थी, ठंड रहती थी वहाँ पे तो, and she used to pocket it, and it used to shine bright green, and वो सब एकदम gems के जैसे चमकता था. And people used to ask, lights तो होती नहीं थी तब ज़्यादा. Hey madam, what are you carrying? You people won't understand. This is polonium करके. वो टशन, right? आगे चल के क्या हुआ? She had cancer, bone cancer, blood cancer, whatever. She died of the irradiation. What she was trying to tame was the snake that bit her. What is very important is this is the same thing over here. So one is definitely Prashant and as Ramaji kind of, you know, are probing technology, yes, but policy, second thing. What is the monster or beat or a pet or a dummy that we are trying to create? If it's a slave, yes, good. But it has got the self-learning ability. It has got self-learning ability. It not only can consume, and we are talking about today now, 2026 February, 10 years hence, right? I mean, we talk about productization, right? Quite a few of my friends in the US, they already have a robo-buy who comes automatically starts, you just need to plug in, वो पूरा घर का झाड़ू पोछा कर देता है या देती है, gender neutral, right? Gender neutral I am, okay? But you look at it, right? अभी वो एक standard segment में है. It costs, say for example, $5,000 supposingly, right? Let's talk about today, the 7th of February 2036. I mean, I would not be wondering if there are multiple segments of such robo e-buys within India. गरीब के घर में 2,000 रुपए की, एक अमीर के घर में 2 लाख रुपए की. More sophisticated, more branded, ज़्यादा काम नहीं कर सकती, battery life कम, all of these things. Now this is one segment of caretaking. And imagine we are at 140 CR of population. And unlike US, जहाँ पे खुद काम, no matter, you know, कितना भी रईस हो, वो खुद काम खुद ही करता है. यहाँ पे वैसा नहीं. We have got an ecosystem of people. We have got an ecosystem of maid. We have got an ecosystem of people operating lifts. We have got an ecosystem of peons. We have got ecosystem of drivers. We have got ecosystem of caterers. And this is very important that we should not get blinded by just, okay, AI can do this. Of course, use it to your advantage. But let it not hit the stomach of the ecosystem. And hence, that's where the policy guardrails have to come. Is it a boon? Is it a bane? Would be determinant as a function of that, right? And I keep pleading, right? We have to go beyond, you know, to few of the people, right, in the know of things. We need a AI as a ministry. That should be enabled by IT ministry, but should be totally independent. If we have to look at a federated structure of India in terms of states, in terms of different dialects, in terms of diversities, in still being able to, you know, India has been doing, you know, enormously great, right? GDP wise, economy wise, you know, being able to shine and outshine as compared to other countries. You see, everybody is flocking to us, right? If we want that to sustain, I think this is very important, wherein we also get into policy. Now, speaking of the technology, right? I spoke about the inference layer wherein most of the non-tech people can be. Let's talk about the tech people, is where we talk about advanced AI engineering, right? There are lots of books available. People who are from IT or non-IT background also. AI engineering is, so we are now moving in from prompt engineering to AI engineering, wherein now you are very close to the rim of the black hole, which is transformer, wherein now you are trying to tweak it by using techniques like RAG, retrieval augmented generation, wherein you are feeding your own data to the transformer and ensuring that transformer is not consuming it for retraining or relearning itself, but as a lookup at your company documents, your own university documents, and that kind of a hyper contextualization where things are. The third is moving away from moving deeper from AI engineering into SLM, right? So lots of these companies, people in stock trading, people in finance, people in HR, they're creating their own small language models, which is not the LLM, as we know. It's focused on subject areas, right? Of course, when you look at the pyramid, you start peeling the layers of onion. You first find, okay, there's LLM, and there's lots of these books and data curation and all that's happening. You open, you see a vast range of NVIDIA, and now even AMD. Intel, by the way, is shrinking, but you see all of these start coming up, and they're very, very expensive. You come down, then you see the electricity that is getting fired, right? 150,000 GPUs to train a certain LLM, and there's a newer version of LLM. So there's a cost on the planet, right? Because if you are coal-fired, unless it's a renewable, right, the GPU are getting fired on certain energy, right? So it has a mass effect, and we have to ensure every single prompt that you're firing. We take pride, right? I मैंने prompt लगा दिया, अरे क्या किया? Prompt का result नहीं आया, दोबारा लगाया. So on an average, just I'm doing a small mathematics and handing it over back to Prashant. आप अगर बोलते हो कि मैं 10 prompt एक दिन में मारता हूँ, या लगाता हूँ, या लगाती हूँ. You imagine there are at least 500 including us, right? 500 into 10 is 5,000 prompts. 5,000 into 365, you can do the mathematics. Those many prompts are hitting the LLM, firing the GPUs, hitting the electricity, and God save us if those electricity are getting hit or getting generated by coal-fired as against wind or hydel, then perhaps that kind of a burden of carbon footprint that we are leaving behind. So I would not say experimentation stage hai, we should keep firing, but somewhere in the back of the mind, कहीं ना कहीं ये रखना कि मैं अंधाधुन कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे या कर रही हूँ. थोड़ा सा sensitive रहना towards the climate and the planet that has bestowed upon us so much of mercy and blessing, that we don't spoil it and leave nothing for the next generation.
Yes, sir. It's a very good reminder. Yes, Ramakrishna sir. So when young professionals enter the workforce today, so what are the most common gaps that you notice? It's their skill set, mindset, communication, or expectations.
So when I talk of organizations, my views will be more based on what my learnings have been in Larsen and Toubro, where I worked for all my life. So what we see as the gaps is that number one is the skill sets. We don't see a gap in terms of domain knowledge, because generally in our organization we take people who come from the reputed institutions and people who are among the top in those institutions. So that part is generally in terms of domain. When I say skill set, I mean the domain knowledge, okay? Because it's very difficult to understand and evaluate the skill sets when we interview them or they come on board. Number one. Number two, while for example, if it's a mechanical engineer, we expect the person should know about welding, about machining, about stress analysis and all that. So the fundamentals should be clear, because most organizations have a very structured training program where they enable the students to learn the skills that are required for their organization, that is adapted to their organization. The communication skills is one we find many of the people lacking, and that is happening a little more now, because if you just think about how we communicate today we are largely communicating through our mobile. we are not doing verbal communication or written communication the way we used to do or the way we are supposed to do. So communication skills is something that we find there's a gap. What was the third thing?
Communication, expectation, mindset and skills.
Now, the mindset part is very, very important. And there, you have to be very clear that when you are entering an organization, your mindset should be such that you should be very open to learning, number one. You must be open to the fact that you are from college, you are entering the industry where a lot of things are expected from you. And it is not that everything will be told to you, you will be spoon-fed with every sort of information. There's a lot of things that you need to ask, because we need people who are curious, who search for answers, who ask questions. We want people who probe, who get into the root of issues. They try to understand the problem or the issue in depth and ask queries. So we need people who have a very open mindset, who are not rigid about working in a particular place, working in a particular location, working in a particular department, working in a particular environment. We need people who are flexible. I talked about flexibility earlier also. In terms of expectations, many times we find that expectation-wise, we find that there is not an issue, because students come with, in today's situation where you have more people than jobs, the expectation is that I must get into a job, and that is a fact. So the expectations are fine. The expectations are a little different when you go into a higher level of education. You get into talk about an MBA student, and you talk about an MBA student coming from a Ivy League or the top 4 or the top 10 colleges. So the expectations vary depending on the background of the students in terms of the institutions he comes from. But there we find that that's not a issue, because everything is very clearly communicated to the people, and the expectation of the organization is also communicated. And some of those things that I mentioned about in terms of commitment, in terms of learning, in terms of flexibility, in terms of resilience, these are the expectations that the organization has from you. Now, I just wanted to add one more thing, that when we talk of all these things, please remember that you have to be very clear that what you do in your life during your academic tenure is very important from a perspective of what you can do when you enter the job market. And therefore, you need to have the life skills and the soft skills that we talked about. That's very essential. You need to express your desire for learning, and you should be able to communicate it well. Okay. So these are the areas that we look at, and as I mentioned too, some areas we find students are fine. In fact, in some areas we find the students are even better than what we thought, because you are today a much smarter lot, as Yogesh ji also mentioned, than what we were. You have access to information at the click of a mouse. You have the access to information at the click of at the opening of your mobile. But that is where you have the advantage. But it depends on how you have leveraged that advantage to add value to yourself. And therefore, by adding value to yourself, when you join an organization, by giving that value, you add value to the organization. I hope I have answered you.
Yogesh sir.
Yeah, few things, maybe you can note it down. So definitely one is communication. Reason why communication, when you are, inside, it's not just about, I am the best data scientist. I've seen many good people, extremely good on operating R, Pythons, Luas, K2, H2O of the world, but not being able to express, right? Because what we do is mathematics, right? The inference, interpretation, explainability, is something that needs error functions, has to be explained to the business. A non-tech audience, how am I explaining that, right? AI does not do it by yourself, by itself, right? So we need to have that knack. This is maths, this is English, and I am bridging that gap. It's typically, it's not the biggest person, doing a business who earns most, right? It's the person who negotiates between two parties, and that's the person that you have to be, right? So that's one. Two is definitely understanding of the domain. Sir again said, domain leads to data. So you cannot say I understand domain well, but I don't know what the data is, right? And if you are saying data and then only for the technical audience, then you have to be a good data scientist. You need to be able to have a good, strong foundational mathematics, all that you brushed up in your advanced post 10th classes, right? Polynomial equation, Fourier series, linear algebra, quadratic algebra, non-linear functions. That is something that you should be mastering on, because all of these tools, which is the languages, right? Python, R of the world, they are using these embedded mathematical models getting exposed as algorithms. You need to be able to have a command on the language. I'm telling you, one language if you are mastering, I think the entire world is going to follow suit. These are the 4 to 5 skills that you should have, right? These are core skills, not the good attitude value system. Over and above, that's the foundation, but this is what you should be packing yourself up for.
Sure, sir.
So as Yogesh also re-emphasizes on the importance of communication, I'll tell you a small story in 2 minutes. So there was just imagine an office, a large corporation, and there was a visit of the CEO of the company. So he was walking along. One friend of mine is sleeping. Can he wake up? So good morning. No problem. रात को late पढ़ रहे थे आप. No problem. But since you're in the first row, I noticed. So the CEO was walking along the corridor of the company, and then he met one youngster, and he asked him, "What's your name and what do you do?" So that guy said, "My name is Shyam, and I work in heavy engineering." So then the CEO asked him, "How is your business?" So he said, "Sir, business is very good, but it can be better. We are doing a lot of things, but, we have to look at the overall economy, and then we have to see the global situation. We have to see competition. So there are a lot of challenges, and we are, trying to do our best and all that." So the CEO said, "Thank you," and he walked. Then he met another person. Just for hypothetically, he asked him, "What's your name?" He said, "I am Ram." Not me, somebody else. So he said, "What do you do?" He said, "Sir, I work in the defense business." So then the CEO asked him, "So how is the business?" So he said, and just imagine it was the month of February, okay, which we are today. So the Ram replied, he said, "Sir, we have in the last quarter ended up with doing a business of 200 crores. Our target was 220 crores. We have a shortfall of 20 crores, but we have a backlog of about 500 crores, and we hope to execute those in the next 3 months to a large extent. So in this quarter, we'll not only reach our target of 250 crores, but we'll also make up for the 20 crores shortfall. And sir, for that, we are getting into 3 new initiatives. One is we are increasing the automation in our factory. Number 2, we are getting people to use AI to make these machines more productive. And hence, I am very confident that we will reach the target for the year by the end of March." So the CEO said, "Wow, very good." And he walked away. 4 years later, there was a requirement in the company of a head of a particular business. And 3-4 names came up, and they were shortlisted and all that. Finally, 2 names were shortlisted. One was this Shyam, other was this Ram. Okay. And then the final selection is to be done by the CEO. So they went and showed all their papers and all that to the CEO. This is his background. This is what he had done all. So he said, "Okay, can you show me a photograph of these 2 people?" So first the photo of Shyam went up. So the CEO looked up. He said, okay. I don't think I know him." Then the photograph of Ram came up. And he said, "Oh, this guy, I remember 4 years back, I just met him for 2 minutes. And he was so clear in his communication, so specific, so objective, so much data driven. I think he is the man for me. Select him." So just remember, communication in an organization is very important. You don't get all the time in the world to communicate. So communicate what is relevant, what is important, and what is the objective of that interaction. So I thought I'll just share this story because this is one of the key things as you get into the corporate world.
Nicely put, sir. Communication बहुत ही important है, guys. It's very important. ठीक है, लेट्स डू अ क्विक रैपिड फायर, ठीक है सर? सो जितना शॉर्ट में आप आंसर कर सके उतना बेटर, एंड यू बोथ हैव टू आंसर, ठीक है? सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज वन स्किल दैट जेन जी ओवर एस्टिमेट्स.
One skill that Gen Z overestimates. Oh God. Their technical capability.
I am next to God. That's what the feeling Gen Z today has.
One skill that Gen Z underestimates.
They underestimate their potential to raise the bar, to do things that they think is not possible, to do things that nobody has done before.
I think because my eyes are open, hence the world exists.
Yeah. One habit that Gen Z should stop immediately.
Walking on the road, talking on the mobile, walking down the steps, messaging on your mobile, and making the mobile the be-all and end-all of your life.
Doom scrolling.
Sir, you're trolling now. One thing colleges are still not teaching but should.
I think life skills and soft skills are very important. I'm not sure whether colleges are teaching or not, but there is so much of pressure on the or to complete the curriculum in terms of the academic syllabus that is laid down by the authorities. I think these life skills and soft skills are left out, and that is something they need to focus on.
Yogesh.
College needs to provide the wings, but just ensure that the roots are not getting detached.
Okay, so I think we are good. So let's open it up for the audience. So if you have any questions for Ramakrishna sir or Yogesh sir, probably you can ask. Any questions?
While you are mulling over that, feel free to add us on LinkedIn. Yeah. No barriers. Yeah.
Any questions, guys?
हेलो सर, माय नेम इज़ मनीषा भारती. मुझे सिर्फ आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है कि इफ़ एआई मेक हार्मफुल डिसीजन, सो हु विल रिस्पॉन्सिबल, द यूज़र, द डेवलपर और एआई इटसेल्फ?
So Manisha बैठ जाइए. So एकदम simple है, right? There is a mail that comes to me, and instead of me, I've used a AI agent to respond to that mail, right? I'm using a AI agent for that, right? The AI agent does whatever sniffing of the information is, and then it responds on my behalf. The LLM is not under any jurisdiction over here. I am under jurisdiction. So वो email अच्छा है, बुरा है, उसमें अपशब्द कहे गए हैं, उसमें sentiments hurt हुए हैं, अगर कोर्ट उठाएगा वो मुझे उठाएगा, पुलिस उठाएगा मुझे उठाएगा, लॉ एनफोर्समेंट मुझे उठाएगा. The moment anything goes out of your LLM in your name, you become the whole and sole custodian. Lots of legal battles are getting emanated over here. As the way the thing stands, you are the original sender of that. So you are the owner of anything that wrongs happen on your LLM.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions?
Hello. Hello. Hello, my name is Safia, and my question to you is that as we are becoming more and more dependent on AI, as we are becoming more and more dependent on AI these days, do you think AI is killing creativity or just amplifying it?
Better. So I think the question for everybody's sake is, as you use more and more AI, is it going to kill the creativity or it is going to amplify? I'll tell you, God has bestowed us with great human, the right side mind, which is creativity, and left side mind, which is analytical. we are creating AI for our own comfort and let it be limited to that only, right? There are few things that we can't do, hence AI should be coming into picture. And I think, there were two stars, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, who were here. And I think Ben Affleck made a very good statement that in so far as the creativity is concerned, right, AI is going to average out the creativity. Now let's try to distill what averaging out the creativity is. If you're not creative, use of AI is going to augment, enhance the creativity. But you are hyper creative, AI is going to get you down to the average. That's how I would like to sum it up.
So while the answer has been given by Yogesh, I would like to emphasize on one point that as the future of this country, all you youngsters should always believe in the fact that whether AI is there, whether AI grows or not, you don't stop your creativity, your out-of-box thinking, your ability to come up with new ways of doing things. AI will only help you augment that, but you don't lose that ability or that motivation to do something creative, because that is what is going to make life enjoyable for you. If otherwise life will become the absolutely mundane, it will become boring. It is creativity that instills in you the excitement to look forward to the next day's sunrise. It is creativity that makes you feel good about doing something worthwhile in this life. So you must be creative, and for tickling your creativity, you must get into hobbies like, whatever it is. It could be sports, it could be painting, it could be singing, it could be dancing, it could be anything. But get one hobby which is enabling you to use your creativity. So don't lose sight of that. AI will only augment it, but your core creativity should continue to thrive.
That's very well, nicely put, sir. Any more questions?
As we see that we use AI in every firm, so I want to ask the question that if we use the AI in the firm of law and the law related, can we use it for the using in like a panchanamas for the petitions and for the drafts? Is it will be good?
I would say, sit down. I would say, if you look at, I think his question is from decision making on legal cases, can AI be used, right? AI from its nascency, over the last 2 years, it is already 8-year-old child, right? It is growing exponentially. As of now, and what are we talking about? We are talking about consistency, we are talking about reducing hallucination, we are talking about information gains, and we are talking about reduction of noise, right? These are the 4-5 things that we are trying to manage with AI. As more and more newer versions of Transformer, as more and more focused versions of LLMs are coming, as more and more you all, the Gen Z, is getting trained on how am I going to do the prompt engineering, AI engineering, so on and so forth. I think it's only a matter of time that the piles of legal cases that are coming, there's lots of scope of automation, which is not RPA based automation, but AI intervened automation. We are definitely going to see that in a decade's time. Now, the will issue happens at the law of the land, right? So we are nobody to stake claim. Can AI do that? Yes, I would say quite significantly, quite a few could be. You still need a human in the loop who is going to validate the decision that is going to get made, but it still alleviates you from lots of other pains, right? At least the nominal cases, we know that 110 cases, this has been the verdict. I mean, for the 102nd case or 111th case, the same verdict could be passed, unless there is a different data, an exogenous variable that is influencing the case, right? So this is how it is. Yeah.
I think adding to what Yogesh ji just mentioned, it's very important to remember one fundamental fact, and that is the AI is a all-encompassing technology that is there. It is very important for every domain, be it law, be it finance, be it recruitment, every domain leader to understand how do I leverage this AI to make my work faster, smarter. So just for example, in the case of law he has given, I heard a recent talk by the CHRO of Accenture. She was mentioning how earlier when they used to get applications for jobs, they used to get hundreds and thousands of them. What used to take 2 days to shortlist the right candidates for the next stage, which could be a written test or an interview, what used to take 2 days is now taking just 2 hours. So what is happening, that HR person who was doing it earlier is now got enough time to spend more on looking into other details, doing a proper job of interviewing the person, asking the right question, evoking the answers that you need in terms of assessing their competency and capability. So what is going to happen is that the quality of output and the speed at which the output comes is going to become faster, provided you use that AI tool intelligently and use it in the manner that it is relevant to the job you're doing. That is where the human mind comes into play.
Well put, sir. Any more questions?
Good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to ask that how important is AI literacy or prompt engineering for a non-tech MBA students?
I'll give you, sit down. I'll give you a perspective, right? When we meet, I mean, we can say today, right? AI is a differentiated skill today. After 5 years, after half a decade, it is not going to be a differentiated skill. Which means that today, if you are edging out on having a prompt engineering or a specialized niche skill on AI, any of these dimensions you can pick up, perhaps you can command a premium today. After 5 years, that is going to be a bare minimum eligibility criteria. So you cannot comfort yourself. Guys, I'm telling you, you cannot comfort yourself. I am the best in finance and accounting. कुछ नहीं होता यार उससे. ये पूरा ये हो जाने वाला है. AI is going to consume. Am I able to use this, tame this beast called AI and use it for my advantage, my company's advantage, for my country's advantage? That's a pivotal change. Your mental wiring has to be rewired to that extent. Ki now I'm going to learn skills that is going to help me and the ecosystem that I'm supporting in that ways. It is not going to be a differentiator. There are going to be new things that would come in. But for now, yes, it is going to give you an edge. But if you are not going to enhance it, augment it, it is going to get blunted eventually. Over to you.
And so there is one more question, that even after 5 years, if you're getting into a business, in that, what is more important for learning, core business or AI? What is more important to learn?
Again, I'll just answer because I'm in the flow and then hand over to Rama sir. See, for business to click, I think within this Red Sea, there's still some blue oceans. There's a white space that you have to find, which comes as a function of business innovation. AI is not going to give you innovation. That's where the creativity has to be fostered, right? So keep finding your creativity. There are going to be new things coming. You cannot have a business that would not use AI. You will not have a business that will not use AI. You may have free flowing AI, zero cost AI. You may have certain optimization models. You'll have certain textual interpretation models. You'll have something in some form, the AI would be there. And if you want to keep that edge with yourself, you have to keep innovating or using the innovation and AI combination to propel your business further. That's how I would like to sum it up.
Just would like to add that business knowledge or domain knowledge is fundamental. You have to know it. You may use AI, you may use any other technology to get more data, to analyze data, etc. But unless you know what the business is all about, there's no point. You won't know what am I going to infer, what data am I going to get, and what decisions I have to take. So knowledge of the domain is very important. In fact, in my 4 years of working with L&T Infotech, which is now called LTI Mindtree, one of the things that we used to be pitted against the biggies like TCS and all that, and we were very chota company. But we used to tell the customer that we come with a domain knowledge. We know what is your business. We know what is your business problem. And we use IT, information technology, to find a solution to your business problems with the backing of the domain knowledge that we have. So that core is very important. These are all additional technologies, tools which enable you to decide faster, to understand faster, to analyze faster. Hope we have answered your query.
Means, sir, even after 5 to 10 years, we are not getting much into AI, but get core business knowledge from outside, working with them. It's okay, right? Means that can be. Yeah. Am I audible? I understand it. Even after 5 to 10 years, if we don't get much into AI and work with core business, work in office with someone where we can get knowledge, it will be helpful for us, right?
See, it depends on, sit down. So it depends on, what kind of business really, you are getting into. I would not be able to tell. I mean, if you would have seen the movie Matrix, right, when the AI kind of, the apocalypse came, the Xeons were still, working in mechanical machines, right? They were not using AI, and everything was wired and nothing virtual. I think I would like to, stay or reserve my comments any further on what kind of a business you're talking. Maybe we can huddle out one-on-one. But if there is a business wherein, I mean, I'm talking about a general business, right? If there's something that is totally out of the league, why not? We don't need AI. If you have a repeat customer, why not? We don't need AI. You feel that for this lifetime and for the next generations, regardless of anything, I am happy with this revenue, this kind of a cost input, this kind of a revenue output, and I'm happy with that with 15, 20 employees. Why not? We don't need AI.
Okay, guys, we can only take one last question.
हेलो चेक माय नेम इज़ हिमांशु सिप्पी एंड ये जो क्वेश्चन है असली में एआई से रिलेटेड नहीं है बट ऑफिस से रिलेटेड है. फॉर एग्जांपल अभी ऑफिस में अभी जो थर्ड ईयर करके जाएंगे, अगर ग्रेजुएट होके जाएंगे ऑफिस में, अब ऑफिस में ऑफिस पॉलिटिक्स होता है नॉर्मली, तो उससे कैसे डील करना पड़ेगा? फॉर एग्जांपल आपका कोई टीएल है, आपसे काम करा लिया, उसने क्रेडिट ले लिया आपका, तो सब कैसे डील कर सकते हो सर?
मैं शुरुआत करता हूँ बाय ओल्ड सेइंग जो कहता है कि कीचड़ में भी कमल खिलता है. सो इन ऑफिस देयर विल बी पॉलिटिक्स, बट यू कैन स्टिल थ्राइव विदाउट गेटिंग इनटू इट. यू कैन थ्राइव बाय शेयर hard work, dedication and commitment. And I'll tell you a story, what happened to me. Many years back, I had a boss. It was not politics, but I had a boss who used to find fault in whatever I was doing. He was too overbearing, too much of micromanagement, too much of, telling ye nahi kiya, wo nahi kiya and all that. So I used to give back. I used to feel frustrated. I used to feel, ye kya ho raha hai? I mean, what is this going on? Then one day, not by sitting under a tree or something, but something struck me. I said, देखो ये आदमी के साथ, I mean, ये boss के साथ, I am getting into conflict. I am trying to argue with him, and then I feel bad. Whole day is gone. Then I decided, okay, let me think about it. Actually, he may be meaning good to me. He is actually expecting something जो मैं नहीं दे पा रहा हूँ. So let me now, from now on, try to fulfill whatever his requirements are. Okay, if he tells me that I need this report by so and so time, I give it. If he expects that I have to travel to so many places and come back, let me do it. I said, let me satisfy him genuine way. All these expectations, let me try and fulfill. And I tell you, my friend, after about a year, he was not my boss any longer. He was a friend, philosopher and a guide. And till today, I have the best of relationship with him. So what you have to do is, you have to transcend, मतलब इनसे ऊपर उठ के, by virtue of your focus on the work, your dedication, your commitment, you will bring about a change that you want to see in that department. It is like Gandhi said, be the change that you want the world to make. So you can become that. You be the catalyst to change that whole political situation and make it a very harmonious and very happy and happening department. So you can do it. And you cannot just say, oh, politics hai and all that. It's all about people. You start communicating with people, you start caring about them, you start doing things out of the way. People will look at you as a role model and they will start emulating you. That is how you bring about the change.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for answering all our questions. So I think we can conclude. And conclusion में यही कहना चाहूँगा कि लिनस टॉरवल्ड ने काफ़ी साल पहले कहा था कि टॉक इज़ चीप, शो मी द कोड. लेकिन आज वो बदल गया है. आज बोलते हैं कि कोड इज़ चीप, शो मी द टॉक. Yeah, sure, definitely.
I just mentioned, talked about, dedication, passion and commitment. So I want to share a small anecdote जो मेरे साथ हुआ था अभी कुछ दिन पहले. I went to Jodhpur, Jodhpur is a nice city to visit and all that. I went on a holiday. तो किसी ने कहा कि सर आप इधर जा रहे हैं तो एक रोहट नाम का जगह है, वहाँ पर आप कचौरी खाओ. तो बोला ठीक है. तो टैक्सी में हम गए तो वहाँ रुके. एक वेरी स्मॉल टाइप ऑफ ढाबा टाइप ऑफ प्लेस था, बट बहुत मशहूर था कचौरी के लिए. तो मैंने कहा वहाँ काउंटर में जाके उनको बोला कचौरी चाहिए. बोला साहब आपको रुकना पड़ेगा 20 मिनट, क्योंकि जो बना था वो ख़त्म हो गया, अभी नया लॉट बन रहा है. तो आई वॉज स्टैंडिंग, और वो तो इतना छोटा रेस्टोरेंट था कि किचन अलग, डाइनिंग अलग, कुछ नहीं था, सब उधर ही है. द काउंटर ऑल्सो इज देयर, द किचन ऑल्सो और वॉट एवर. तो एक बड़ा इन अ कॉल्ड्रन, ऑयल वॉज बॉइलिंग, ऑब्वियसली kachori is fried, and there were 3 people working. One was the main cook and 2 were helping him. तो वो आटा को गोल बना रहे थे, उसके अंदर कुछ मसाला डाल रहे थे, उसको बंद कर रहे थे, और एक एक करके they were putting it and frying it. Okay, वो in that dekchi or the cauldron पूरा भर गया था, 50-60 कचौरी थे उसमें. Then I noticed that the main cook was there. He was looking at the कचौरी, और वो गरम उबलता हुआ तेल में अपना हाथ डाल के एक कचौरी को उठाता था, देखता था, डालता था. फिर उसने दूसरा उठाया, देखा, उसको अलग टेबल पे रख दिया. ऐसे उसने 4-5 कचौरियाँ उठा के बाहर रखा. तो आई वॉज थिंकिंग ये क्या कर रहा है यार, एक तो गरम तेल में अपना हाथ डाल रहा है, एंड ही इज डूइंग इट हैप्पीली, एंड देन ही इज पुटिंग इट आउट. देन आई नोटिस दैट ही वॉज लुकिंग एट दोज कचौरीज जिसमें के आउटर कवरिंग में क्रैक था. And he was removing it, and then he had a katori of wet atta. So he took the defective kachori जो भी थे उसको एक एक करके he used to take that कटोरी से गीला आटा, उससे उसको बंद करता था और उसको फिर से डाल दिया. So I realized it is not necessary for Toyota to look at quality. That humble kachori maker looked at quality. 2, why did he do it? Why did he put his hand in that boiling oil and took it? Because of his commitment and passion to his work. So commitment, passion and a focus on quality doesn't happen only on the shop floor. It happens in every sphere of our life. If each one of us can have that attitude of that kachori wala, what can stop India from becoming a Viksit Bharat by 2047 or earlier?
थैंक यू सर, ये बहुत ही मोटिवेटिंग था. तो AI, एक मैसेज क्लियर है यहाँ से कि AI जो है फ्यूचर नहीं है, AI जो है ये प्रेजेंट है. तो अगर आप अपनी थिंकिंग एबिलिटी को स्ट्रॉन्ग रखें, लर्निंग को हैबिट बनाते रहें और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के साथ टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ करते रहो, तो AI आपके लिए कोई थ्रेट नहीं है, वो बल्कि एक आपके लिए मल्टीप्लायर बनेगा. ठीक है. द फ्यूचर इज़ नॉट ह्यूमन वर्सेस AI, द फ्यूचर इज़ ह्यूमन हु अंडरस्टैंड AI वर्सेस ह्यूमन्स हु डोंट. तो ये मेरे हिसाब से एक बहुत ही फेयर समरी होगा. तो आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक यू रामाकृष्ण सर एंड योगेश राव सर, जो आपने इतनी क्लैरिटी से, इतनी ऑनेस्टली आपने हमारे साथ अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया. सो आई होप गाइज आपने कुछ ना कुछ नया इस 1 घंटे में सीखा होगा. एंड थैंक यू सो मच सर.